What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Jordan's Film Quest. Today's adventure, I'm in Granville, Ohio, probably like 10-15 minutes from where I live. Now, what's cool about this place is I'm at Denison University up here in Granville, and a specific individual went here. He attended here in the 80s. You might know him as Michael Scott from The Office. You might know him as Andy from The 40-Year-Old Virgin, and countless of other movies and TV shows that this individual has been in. I'm talking about Steve Carell. He attended Denison University here in the 80s, and we're going to talk about his time here while he attended. Let's get into it. I would just like to point out that this chapel that I'm standing in front of is the highest point in Lincoln County. Aside from the courthouse downtown Newark, is the second highest point in Lincoln County. This chapel here is really tall and it's really old, but pretty cool though. So we're going to take a tour around, kind of walk around the campus here, and just talk about Steve Carell's time here at Denison. I do have a rather fascinating story involving this place. So when I was in high school, I had this class called AFJROTC, which is, if you don't know, Junior ROTC for the Air Force, which I didn't go into the Air Force. But anyway, we took a college visit here. They let us tour the campus. We ate lunch here. We just did all kinds of cool stuff here because Denison wanted to have potential recruits to come here for college. Anyway, we had this one tour guide. I don't remember his name, obviously. But we went into the theater area, and you can take theater here, which is one of the courses, which I think is pretty awesome because not a lot of colleges offer that nowadays. But he told me that one of his friends that went here years ago was in the library, and he checked out a book. And, you know, when you check out a book in the library, it tells you everybody who's previously checked out that book. It had Steve Carell's signature in it. So how cool would that be to get a book and see Steve Carell's autograph in it? I don't know what they ever did with that book to this day, but I think it's a cool story to share. I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to go to Denison because they offer a lot of cool stuff that some of the colleges around here don't. But when I saw the tuition price, it was a little steep for me. At the time, I believe it was about 10 years ago, it was like $50,000 a year. I could be wrong, a little more, a little less. But now I believe it's around $80,000 a year, which is still rather expensive for the Central Ohio area because Denison is marked one of the best schools here in Central Ohio. Probably, if not all of Ohio. I'm gonna be honest, I really just don't have any particular area that I'm gonna go and show you. I'm just gonna kind of walk the campus and talk a little bit about Steve Carell. But if anybody ever wanted to film one of those college party movies, this would definitely be one of the places to do it. I can totally see there being some kind of college movie filmed here. Kind of reminds me of Van Wilder in a way. Also keep in mind that during the entirety of this video that I'm showing you, Steve Carell was also walking the halls on this campus. Like right here is Denison Fellows Hall. I don't know what's in that building. But over here is another one. That one over there is another one. I'm trying to see what the sign says. Higley Hall. And that one over there starts with an S. Can't think of the name of it, but I was literally just over there. Some dude took off on a scooter down this way, so I'm gonna see what's going on up this way. Carell was a fan of hockey since the early 1970s when the Bruins had a great run. He had been playing since he was 8 years old. He had a team and they actually went to the national championship. They won the squirt level. They went to Detroit to compete against top teams in the country, and actually they ended up winning. Despite his squirt success, whose position was a goalie, knew that he wasn't destined to be a pro hockey player. He said to a certain point, you either have to commit to that as a professional career or let it just be a fun hobby. He also played in high school, and he told ESPN that he had to think about whether I was going to be a Division I college hockey player and fight for a job as a goaltender or do something else. Instead, he went to Denison, a Division III school, and played throughout college. And he said it was for fun and not for advancing myself. Carell was pretty good at Division III, although in an article from The Athletic reveals he missed many games in his junior and senior year due to commitments, including theater, which he was also very good at. He was a talented goalie and was close to his friends and his teammates. He was the main goalie for the team as a freshman and made it through the entire season without injury. His sophomore stats were 305 saves across 29 periods played, which is a .866 percentage. So you won't believe what I found. I've been walking around the campus here, and I had no idea that there's a cemetery here on the campus. I have no idea who is laid to rest here or why this is even here, but I'm gonna go check it out real quick. As I'm walking around here checking out some of these names, a lot of these headstones say professor on it. There's one over here that says professor of philosophy. There's another one over here that says professor of mathematics. So I would assume the people laid to rest here had something to do with the school, obviously. But it's rather interesting because I definitely did not know there was a small little cemetery here. And I'm not sure, like this one here, World War II, or yeah, World War I. There are military veterans here. Checking out some of these headstones. I know there's one over here that I saw. What's this one say? William Ashmore, pioneer missionary of Northern Baptist in South China. Huh. There's one I saw over here somewhere that's got some military stuff on it. I'm not sure. Yeah, this one is professor of chemistry. And that one is university archivist. I think there's like a little section over here for military people. I mean, they're kind of like spread all over because you can definitely tell that some of these headstones are really old. Like professor of history. Can't really. Oh wow, age 21 years. Like these two back here are pretty old. Yeah, this one here is a Korean War. Man, this is really interesting. Oh wait, here's a little. Just like these are unmarked. Nothing on the front, nothing on the back. Oh, there's some MLL on that one. JP looks like on this one. But who would have thought that there's a cemetery here in the middle of campus? Strange. So I've looped around and made it back here to Slater Hall. Even though it looks like a empty campus, there's quite a few people out walking around. It's definitely the place you want to be if you're trying to get some exercise, because this campus is rather large and you can walk quite a bit of it. So quite a few people here that I've passed so far.
Sapphire Steve Carell with us this morning. Steve, like a bit of sledgehammer.
Peter Gabriel with a little sledgehammer.
You're never leaving. Tell me about Sapphire Steve Carell.
How much do you want to know?
Back everything, Steve.
Well, in college, university, I was a DJ at the local radio station.
Yeah.
And I dubbed myself Sapphire Steve Carell. That was my handle.
I love that. Do you remember where that came from?
We had to intern with one of the established DJs.
Yeah.
And he called himself Diamond Doug McKinney. So when I finally got my chance to go on the air, I gave him a little grief and I said my name was Sapphire Steve Carell. Ladies and gentlemen, the legend, Ms. Diana Ross.
Before graduating in 1984, Steve Carell not only played hockey all 4 years for the Big Red hockey team, but he also had a major in history and a minor in theater. Steve was also a DJ for the student radio station called WDUB, and he worked the 5 to 7 a.m. shift. He was also a student intern on The Doobie. His name for the radio station was Sapphire Steve. He was mentored by Doug McKinney, aka Diamond Doug, not because of the jewel, but because he was a fan of baseball. When Steve Carell was asked by Smartless about what kind of music genres he played, he replied, mostly Stairway to Heaven, and then everybody had a good laugh. Abby Jump, a DJ and a member of the executive board of The Doobie, shared that DJs have to do their IDs every hour they're on the air, and sometimes you can play the ones that have been saved to the board. She said there's a little recording of Steve Carell being like, "Hey, this is Steve Carell and you're listening to The Doobie," that he recorded during his 40th anniversary for the Burpees Improv show. Carell told Smartless that because of Denison's small size, he was able to dabble in everything, allowing him to be a history major, theater minor, DJ for The Doobie, and a Denison University men's hockey team goalie, all at once. So one thing that I really am not sure about is where Steve Carell and his team practiced at, because just down the hill there's like a football field, tennis courts, gymnasium, and all that stuff. I mean, there is an ice rink in Newark, which isn't too far from here, but I don't know if Denison has their own ice rink. I don't know how they did that, but something to ponder, I guess. I've wound up back here at the chapel. I'm trying to find the building that has the stage on it. I've only been in it once, so I'm gonna keep walking around and see if I can find it. I mean, it could be in a building I already passed. I don't know. That was like 10, 12 years ago, and I've only been up here, honestly, aside from this visit right now, walking around, 2 other times. So I'm not really familiar with the campus here, but I'm gonna keep looking. I think I've sort of reached the end of the trail here, because these just kind of look like dorm rooms, kind of. I mean, there's a bike over there and there's chairs out front. So I would assume it's definitely not this building where I was looking at for the theater. I remember it being at the top of the hill. Maybe it was close to the chapel. Hell, it could be the chapel. I don't know. But that's Huffman Hall. All right. I think that's gonna be about it for today. You can actually see some callbacks to his hockey career on episodes of The Office. Steve Carell played a character named Michael Scott. In the Threat Level Midnight episode, he wrote on a whiteboard, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. So you kind of see the hockey references in that episode. Then in another episode, he takes the Dunder Mifflin gang to the ice rink, and there you can see him really showing off his skills. Michael looks at the camera and says, "Yeah, I've been pretty much skating my whole life. I thought about playing in the NHL, but you're on the road so much you have no time to spend with your wife and kids. And I really want a wife and kids." So I think it's pretty cool that he incorporated his personal life into what is one of the biggest sitcoms ever on television. I think it's pretty cool. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap on the early life of Sapphire Steve, aka Steve Carell, aka Michael Scott. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed this little tour, I guess, if you will, of Denison University. Really wish I could have went to college here, but wood in the books for me, so to speak. But anyway, if you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And remember to subscribe, comment, share. Let me know what you guys think. If you learned something new, give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate that. But anyway, catch you next time on George's Film Quest.